Tasha here. It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. I actually, it's pretty early here. I just woke up and I actually woke up in a pretty good mood, pretty energized. I got a lot of sleep and I just wanted to, well, one, I'm getting my day started early. Excuse me, because I literally woke up and I got my nice coffee here and I was just sitting here thinking, whether you identify to me as being a mother or you identify as a prepper or a content creator, as a military person, it really doesn't matter how you identify yourself and connect with me. You know that out of any of those things, there's always something to be done, right? There's always projects to be done. There's always something to do, and it can be very, very overwhelming. I see I still got crusties in my eye. So I'm sitting here, I'm having my coffee, I'm trying to figure out, okay, out of the 1,000 things I have to do today, like, no shit, what needs to be done, okay? So I have like 1,000 videos to make. I have some prepping projects. I have some errands to go run. You know, time is of the essence in a lot of ways. And so if you haven't heard about the gas stuff, I hope that you've already gone out, topped off all your vehicles, even if you have vehicles sitting in the backyard, or the RV, or different things that take gas that you're not necessarily using right now. Go take those and get them filled up, or go fill up your cans and then go fill those up and put a stabilizer in them, even if it's something that doesn't run, okay? But get your gas. I'm very, very jealous because we live in an apartment and there's absolutely no place here for me to store gas safely, okay? I have my gas cans for filling up when there's a true emergency, meaning like I'm trying to get gas to leave. But it is what it is, you guys. So today I was thinking about long-term and our freezers and getting ahead of food shortages and inflation and how do you battle that. And so my battling is stocking up, right? And we're always constantly rotating, and it's also about, for us, filling holes, right? And so we're sitting pretty good right now, okay? I'm pretty comfortable-ish. But there's some things when I forecast out that I'm concerned about, okay? And it kind of ended up with me coming up with the 10 things that I think you should get in your freezers right now, or at least at a minimum be thinking about, because what you should be doing is, things are so crazy right now in our society and in this country that as a prepper, you're always watching what's going on, adjusting fire, and then looking down range, right? We're always looking, you know, what's in front of us and how we should react now to basically get ahead of it, okay? So I'm gonna give you the 10 things that I think you should get in your freezers now. And you're gonna wanna stick around, you guys, because number one, number two, you probably haven't been thinking about, and now's your time to execute this if you can, okay? So 10 things. So first thing is, and I'm mentioning some of these because I've done a couple videos where I've already mentioned this stuff, and people have said in the comments that they didn't realize that this was even foods that you could put in your freezers. Therefore, they've never thought about being able to freeze these foods, okay? So number 10 is your breads. I want you to go get your breads. Just get a few loaves, depending on what your freezer situation looks like. Get you a couple loaves of bread. Get your, you know, English muffins, get your bagels, basically whatever it is that's a bread type product that your family eats, get that, okay? I'm not saying stock up, you know, to the rafters, but what I'm saying is when things first collapse and there's any kind of run on the markets, there's any kind of run, the fresh fruit goes first, the fresh stuff goes first, and bread and eggs and milk, right? Those perishable products are the first ones that go. So if you've already got some of your bread products that are put away in your freezer that will last a very long time in your freezer, perfect. If you're able to somehow, if you have larger freezer food bags to vacuum seal, Even better if you can vacuum seal, just because, as we all know, packaging in the store is not the greatest, okay? So get your breads. Number 9, get your cheeses. So this is your sliced cheese for sandwiches. This is your shredded cheese for your tacos and your different meals that you make. This is even your cream cheese, okay? I get cream cheese and I freeze it, okay? So think ahead, think about your menu planning and what you need, and get some of that cheese. You know, obviously you're gonna have some of this stuff that's in your fridge as your everyday. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna rotate through, when it's time for one, take that out of the freezer and use it, and then you can go replace it, okay? So get your cheeses. Number 8 is butter. So this is a big one. People didn't realize you could freeze, all right? Now, butter lasts a long time in the fridge. It's one of those foods to me that, you know, can last forever, right? Not forever, but you know what I mean, okay? It can last a very long time in the fridge. But I often will keep a ton of butter in our freezers. And then again, I'm just rotating, okay? So butter. Number 7, yeast. So again, you want the capability that if there's no fresh bread, that you have the capability to make you some nice, fresh, warm bread at home to go along with those meals that you're making, okay? So stock up on yeast. Get the kind that, if you can buy them in bricks that are already like vacuum sealed and compressed hard, and then you can throw those in the freezer and keep them for a very long time. If you buy the packets, same thing, but I would probably put them in something and then throw them in the freezer. But your yeast, okay? So I have yeast that's out, right? That's kept in my baking stuff. I have yeast that's in long-term storage, and then I have yeast that is yeast bricks that are like in the freezer, okay? All right, 6, frozen fruits. So don't sleep on this, especially if you're the type that doesn't really utilize frozen fruits, right? You're not a smoothie maker, right? You never really done anything that in the kitchen that really consisted of using frozen fruits, but don't sleep on frozen fruits. If you have a freezer, get you some frozen fruits. That's gonna be a way for you to get some of your fruit intake later if we get to a situation where we have either shortages in our fruit or it's so high that you're like, it's just too much, okay? Because you might find yourself thinking, okay, now I can make some sort of smoothie. I can make some sort of smoothie to get my fruit intake. You could cook down those berries if you wanted to make some jellies or jams. So there's all types of fruits that you can get in the frozen fruit section if you have not gone there. So stock up on frozen fruits. And again, you're not getting anything that your family won't eat, okay? All right, number 5, frozen vegetables. So same thing. When there was a run in the stores last year, all the fresh stuff was gone, right? But what I noticed is, I knew that going into the store that all the fresh stuff, right, if you will, all the outside stuff was gone. I already knew that. As a prepper, I already knew. I wasn't even trying to mess with that. I was trying to go straight in. And I went to the frozen vegetables because we eat a lot of frozen vegetables. And I was like, let's get our vegetables. And when I tell you it was cleaned out, totally cleaned out, okay? So get your frozen vegetables now. You can keep them in your freezer, and that's another way. So right now you should be getting your canned vegetables, specifically corn is something that we're gonna see low numbers on. So if you're a corn eating family, get your cans of corn, get your frozen corn and your other vegetables for your freezers, and any other vegetables that you guys eat as a family, get that. If you get to the point too where your freezers are kind of full, you can pull out those vegetables from time to time too and start dehydrating them and get them in a dehydrated form as well, okay? So just some other options. I get it, we don't all have 5 refrigerators and freezers. I get this. We're in an apartment, we literally just have our freezer in the kitchen, and then we went and bought a freezer, okay? I don't even know how big it is, but maybe I'll figure that out and put it in the description box for you guys. And then we fill that thing. It's full all the time. All right, number 4, bacon. So specifically, I think just meat in general, I think everybody's kind of catching on that meat in general, you should be getting it in your freezers, okay? But I put bacon specifically. I think that your Gucci meats, you know, your bacons, your sausage patties, your links, things like that, that a lot of the country does eat for breakfast and stuff, and for different feel-good foods and appetizers, and you know what I'm saying? Bacon is like one of the favorite meats. So I would get your bacon and get it in. If anything at all, we don't see a shortage of it, you're definitely gonna see inflate. I saw it inflate last year, so we went through a time where we were not getting any kind. But I think any kind of meat in general you wanna get, and then again, you wanna be repackaging it if you have the ability to do so. Get your food saver bags, and be resealing that meat so that it will last the longest. That's with any of this stuff, okay? All right, number 3 is your crock pot freezer meals. Start making your favorite homemade soups, okay, that you make in the crock pot, or your homemade stews, or your one pot whatever you make on the stove, right? Those big pot meals that you make, start making that stuff, throw it in your gallon bags, and start saving those meals that are already ready to go, already cooked, and you literally are putting them in their gallon bags and freezing it for a rainy day. Then when stuff happens, you lose power, whatever, you're literally just having to take that out. It's gonna defrost, and then you're going to just heat it up, okay? So to me, that's a very easy way that when stuff's going on or things are chaotic, this is a great tip just if you have a busy family and there's always something to do and you're a mom and you find yourself never having time to make dinner. There's 1,000 other things we'd rather do sometimes than make dinner. However, dinner's still got to be made, okay? And that's a way that you can get hearty food put away that's already done. You've done the hard work. You're just pulling it out and reheating it, okay? So get your crock pot, big meal type meals into some baggies and or some storage containers and start freezing them, okay? Okay, number 2 and number 1 are kind of the same, you guys. And if you're still sticking around, thank you for that. But I think you're gonna appreciate this if you're a prepper. And maybe you've already thought about this, but I literally just started thinking the other day and came about, oh, I need to get this done. So number 2 is your Thanksgiving turkey. It might behoove you to go now, if you have the money and you have the freezer space, and get that Thanksgiving turkey, okay? Maybe you just get your backup Thanksgiving turkey, right? Maybe you don't have space to get the big, nice bird that you get every year, but you're just trying to get ahead of things in case those birds aren't available. So maybe you get a smaller bird that you have the room for, get that bad boy now and get it in the freezer. And then if anything, that's possibly something you don't have to even worry about later, okay? This last year, we found moments where it was difficult to find turkeys for whatever reason, but it ended up working out, okay? So get your Thanksgiving turkey, even a smaller rendition of that, and get it in your freezer. And then number 1, as you can imagine, is following suit. Get your Christmas ham, your roast, your, you know, whatever it is that you do for Christmas. Maybe it's these, you know, banging thick steaks. Maybe it's a big roast, right? A pork roast. Maybe it's a big ham. Basically, whatever it is that your family does for that big meal for Christmas, possibly think about getting that meat. Again, if you have the freezer space. I get it if you don't. What I did last year, and I just realized that I did this, was I guess I must have been subconsciously worried that we weren't going to have that stuff available. But what I did was before the season, I had gotten a much smaller ham, right? Even a ham that you would like maybe possibly just cut up for sandwich or salads, whatever. So I got a decent size, just basic ham. And then same thing, they have turkey breast that's like that too. That's much smaller. It's already kind of processed as far as, you know, there's no more bones anymore. It's just a piece of the turkey or the, pork, the pig, if you will, right? And I had those, and those were our backups. When people were talking about they couldn't find turkeys, I was like, oh, well, at least I have that as just some basic. So mentally, I knew I was going to have this to be able to provide for my family and have the same-ish type of meal, right? So just be thinking about that stuff. You could take it a step further and get, you know, the stuff to make the stuffing and, you know, get your gravies, and you could be prepping the other stuff. But to me, getting those big pieces of meat that have, you know, a meaning as far as when we make them are going to be important. So those are my 10 things, you guys, that I would say you need to get into your freezers today. These are things that are in my freezer, and then this weekend, well, it's already Sunday. This next week coming up, I'll be getting some of these other things into my freezers now, okay? Mine are full right now. I need to do some canning because I have a ton of meat in there. So I need to do some more canning to make room so I can get my Christmas ham and a small Thanksgiving turkey put away. Okay, so I will see you guys next time. Please subscribe, like, share this video. If you thought that, hey, you learned something that you weren't necessarily thinking about and you want to share it, shoot it out to somebody that you think will appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on the flip side, okay? Have a great Mother's Day.